اعوذ بالله من الشیطان الرجیم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. Hello everyone. My name is Mahdi and I just want to share with you 3 verses in the Quran that prove without a doubt that prostration is actually a physical act and that it does not mean submission. It actually is a physical act, and Quran actually makes it very clear. In addition to this video, I have another video. I go through all the Quranic verses that talk about prostration, and I demonstrate to you from those verses that prostration is a physical act and it does not mean submission. It's actually a physical act that has to be done. And Allah could not make it any clearer in the Quran. Allah knows past, present, and future, and Allah knows the questions that will come up. Because of that, Allah has clarified it so well for us so we don't go astray. The first verse is from chapter 25 of the Quran. It's verse number 45. It says, "Have you not considered your Lord, how he extends the shadow? And if he willed, or had he willed, he could have made it stationary. He could have made the shadow stationary. Then we made the sun for it as an indication, as a guide, as a cause, dalila." So basically Allah is telling us that the shadow is a physical phenomena that is guided and produced by sun. And we know that obviously you can go put a stick in your backyard and you can see the shadow moving through sun. So I just start with this verse so I can clarify it for you. So we are talking about the physical phenomena. We are talking about shadows, and shadows are a physical phenomena, and sun actually causes this shadow to be produced, correct? I think that is a very well-known phenomena across the world. I'm hoping and praying that all of you are familiar with it and know what it actually is. So we're talking about shadows. Now let's look at 2 other verses and how Allah ties shadows to prostration for us so we know that prostration is a physical act. Verse number 48 of chapter 16 in the Quran. أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا إِلَى مَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ مِنْ شَيْءٍ يَتَفَيَّأُ ظِلَالُهُ عَنِ الْيَمِينِ وَالشَّمَائِلِ سُجَّدًا لِلَّهِ وَهُمْ دَاخِرُونَ. Have you not considered what things Allah has created? Have you not considered all the things that Allah has created and how their shadows incline to the right and to the left? He's talking about the same phenomena that we just talked about in the previous verse, right? He's talking about the shadows, and he's talking about the sun movement. As sun rises from the east, your shadow is pointing towards the west, and as sun sets towards the west, your shadow is pointing towards the east, right? The shadow is always at the different side, from the right to the left. That's exactly what this verse is talking about. So their shadows incline to the right and to the left. Then it says, سُجَّدًا لِلَّهِ وَهُمْ دَاخِرُونَ, prostrating to Allah, prostrating for Allah while they are humble. So again, one more time, prostrating to Allah while they are humble. So it's telling you that everything under the heaven is prostrating to Allah through their shadows, knowingly or unknowingly, and that prostration is a sign of being humble. وَهُمْ دَاخِرُونَ. So it's prostration is a sign of humility. It's a sign of being humble. You are basically telling Allah that you are humble. You're humbling yourself towards your Creator. And Allah makes it very clear in this verse. So their shadows incline to the right and to the left, prostrating for Allah while they are humble. Now let's look at the next verse. وَلِلَّهِ يَسْجُدُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ طَوْعًا وَكَرْهًا وَظِلَالُهُمْ بِالْغُدُوِّ وَالْآصَالِ. To Allah prostrates everyone in the heavens and the earth, willingly or unwillingly, as do their shadows in the morning and in the evening. Telling you that prostration is a physical act that all creatures of Allah are doing through their shadows, willingly or unwillingly. So it is very important. Now, if prostration meant submission, how could submission cast a shadow? It's impossible, right? It just does not make sense. Allah is clarifying it for us that prostration is a physical act, and as you are walking, your shadow is prostrating. So Allah is making it very clear for us. Now I'm going to show you some pictures of different creatures prostrating face down through their shadows so you can actually see this phenomena yourself. So this is a picture of a child. As you can see, look at this shadow in front of this child. As you can see, it's as if this person or this child, if you look at the shadow, is falling prostrate on their face. Obviously the shadow changes size as sun moves around, just as Quran tells us that Allah made the sun as a reason, as a guide, and as a cause for shadow. So as sun is setting or as it's rising, the shadow is longer, and as it moves across the sky, when it gets to its highest point, the shadow becomes smaller, and then gradually it becomes longer and longer again as it sets. Look at this other picture, another child, again the same thing. You can see the shadow and how the shadow is actually prostrating for Allah, just as the Quran explains it for us. Look, another child again, you see. Look at these, the pieces of wood, the fence, and look at their shadows. It's as if they are face down on earth. So as Allah tells us, everything is prostrating for Allah, willingly or unwillingly. There's the trees here. Obviously you don't see the tree, but look at its shadow. The shadow of the tree is falling prostrate on its face. You can see it's a beautiful picture. Again here, look at all these trees standing so tall, but look at their shadows. Look at this tree and its shadows. So, and it doesn't matter wherever you are, as long as you have the sun, as long as you're under the sun. So literally everything that is under the sun is prostrating for Allah per the Quran. Again, look here. You see this tree. Look at this tree. Look at its shadow. Again, the same thing, exactly just like the Quran explains for us, right? So you can actually see it. So let me show you some shadows from the mountains. So obviously this is a mountain. You can see even the cloud. Look at the cloud and the shadow of the cloud. Even the cloud is prostrating for Allah. You can see the shadow of the cloud on these mountains. Again, you can see the shadow of these clouds on these mountains. Now look at this. This is a beautiful picture that I wanted to share with you. So this is a mountain here at this corner. Obviously we don't see the mountain, right? But look at the shadow of the mountain. It's exactly like Allah says. Look at the shadow. The shadow is falling down prostrate for Allah, just like the Quran explains for us. Isn't that beautiful? So the mountain is here. Obviously you don't see it in the picture, but you can see the shadow prostrating. So the mountain is actually prostrating for Allah through its shadow. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Look at the shadow of this mountain. The shadow is actually on the clouds. So it has cast a shadow on the cloud. Isn't that beautiful? This is another very beautiful picture. Just look at this huge mountain here. This person is obviously taking this picture here. But look at the shadow of the mountain. See how vast this thing is. You can do this search yourself. Just search shadows of mountains or mountain shadow. You can see a lot of pictures. But look how beautiful and look how huge this shadow is. Do you see the mountain range here? There's a lot of mountain ranges. But look at this huge shadow that this mountain has cast on the area. It's amazing. One more time. Again, you can see the shadow of this huge mountain in this area. Look how huge. This is a valley. You see, this is the top of the mountain. This is the top of a mountain here. And this is actually the shadow of the mountain. And this is a huge valley. This is a very vast shadow. It's huge. Another shadow of the mountain on the water. Isn't it beautiful? Again, here you can see the shadow of the clouds on the mountains, and look at the shadow of the mountains on the water. This is another beautiful picture. You can see the shadow of this huge mountain here on the lake. You can see the shadows of the trees on the water as well on both sides. So just like Allah tells us, everything in this world is prostrating for Allah, face down, willingly or unwillingly, through their shadow. This is another huge mountain and its shadow. Look at it. Do you see how vast that is? This is a huge area, and this mountain is so high, so tall, but still is prostrating. All those high rises that you see in downtown areas in different cities, they are prostrating as tall as they are through their shadows. This is another beautiful picture. Look how high, how tall this mountain is. So the mountain is actually casting a shadow. This is the shadow of the mountain. The mountain is so high that its shadow is actually cast on the clouds. Look here. Do you see the clouds here? The shadow of the mountain has been cast on the clouds. So that mountain is face down, as high as it is. Its shadow is facing down, prostrating for Allah. Look at this, guys. Look at the clouds. Look at this huge cloud, and look how tall this mountain is, that its shadow is actually on the clouds. Isn't that beautiful? So this mountain, as tall as it is prostrating for Allah. So this is the camels. Look at these camels walking, and look at their shadows. It's a line of camels, and look at their shadows. So again, look at this. These are the camels. You can see the camels are very little. You cannot see it well, but look at how long their shadows are. So you can see, like, this is the camel, this is the shadow. So let me show it here. I can isolate it better here. So this is the camel here, and look at the shadow. Shadow is this long part. You see? So everything is prostrating willingly or unwillingly. Again, look at this picture. The camel together with its rider, they are prostrating for Allah. This is an amazing picture. I think we look at this. This is a camel, and this is the shadow. This is a camel, this is a shadow. Camel, shadow. Look how everything that walks on earth or is on earth is prostrating for Allah willingly or unwillingly. It's amazing. So look here, again, look here at this group of camels and how they are prostrating. Look at these, another huge group of camels that are prostrating with their shadows. It's beautiful. I mean, these pictures are really worth seeing. I encourage you to look for these pictures and see it for yourself. Look, this is Wadi Rum in Jordan. This is very close to Petra. So look at these. The camels are prostrating with their shadows. Everything is prostrating, willingly or unwillingly. All praise and glory be to Allah.